Howdy and welcome back. I'm Randy and I am here trying to solve problems again. Let me show you the problem. We bought this range hood vent that is supposed to be a flush mount in the ceiling, and that actually is what the problem is trying to flush mount that in the ceiling, because the way that this thing mounts, it needs a 42 by 24 hole put in the ceiling right there. There's part of the house in the way, a very important part of the house. Now, the options that I have to solve this problem is to have an engineer how to put a hole in my trusses and carry the load around the opening for that, which I'm not going to do because I have no idea how much it's going to cost, and it's not worth it. So my other option is to figure out how to get this to fit in there without modifying the house. Something has to be modified, so it's going to be the range hood that's going to get modified. What I'm doing is I'm going to take it all apart, and I'm going to mount the actual fan part on top of the platform that you see up there. That platform was supposed to be for our HVAC system. Since we ended up going with mini splits, I don't have to use that anymore. So the fan part of it is going to go on top of that. And then the fascia part, the pretty part, the stainless part, I have to figure out how to mount in the ceiling and get clearance for everything, and then still connect to the fan to vent the gases and smoke and grease and everything from cooking up to the vent and outside. So I think I've got things figured out. Let me kind of show you what it is that I have in mind and how I think it's going to work. I've taken this apart already. Those are the doors. Just put them out of the way. And it has these LED lights. Take them out. Now, just so you know, this is not a how-to. This is how I am doing. That one out, and then inside is more stuff. We'll turn that to the side and just get it out of the way. We have this, which is part of the structure of the fascia of the vent, the hood range, I guess is what I should actually call it. And then this part, which is basically just the trim that covers up the transition from the ceiling to the vent. So that is going to leave us with this part. This is a part that I'm going to put on the top of the platform, and then I'm going to have to figure out how to duct through that to the black part so that it will still suck grease and smoke and everything else out. Now, if you look at it, I have this, I'm calling it a lip, it's not really a lip, but whatever it is, I have this, which is 1 inch. So I need to space this part down 1 inch from the rafters of the house so that I can mount that part. And then the next issue that I have is this is the stainless trim piece. Is this area here needs to be filled so that there's not this big space between this and the ceiling. So I've determined that I'm going to need to have my drywall guys put an extra 5/8 sheet and a 1/2 inch sheet on top of the ceiling that they are going to do. And basically what that's going to do is that's going to space this down from the ceiling 1 3/4 inches. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to have them do like a 2-inch ring all the way around it so that it looks like it was intentional, and I think it's going to be tight enough to the ceiling that it's not going to look too bad, especially if we do, like I said, the 2-inch ring all the way around it. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to rip a 2x4 down because I need it to be precisely 1 inch, and I don't know of any place that I can buy exactly 1 inch lumber, so I got to cut it down. Oops. Well, I thought it was a dull blade that was making the saw work hard. Turns out the motor burned up. It's too bad too, because this is a handy little saw. It was I guess a hand-me-down. It was my uncle's saw, and it went to my cousin, and then it came to me. Like I say, it was a handy little saw. Now I gotta replace it. It's too bad. Of course, there's 2 to 3 inches of board left to cut when it decided to cut out. Oh, poor little saw. Well, I quickly ran out of light last night, so I'm back out here again the next day, and I'm going to quickly run out of light again. What I did with those boards that I cut is I put them together. Let me show you real quick. I put those together. I'm going to attach them to the bottom of the trusses so that the drywall guys can use that as their template for the opening for the exhaust fan, the range hood vent. That's what I'm calling it. So I need to get that up there. But before I put it up there for them, I need to put some boards into the trusses so that they have something to attach the edges of the sheetrock to. So I'm going to do some measuring and figure out where everything needs to be, cut that up, and we're going to put that in. Okay, the rough opening is roughly framed. I'm going to put the template thing up for the sheetrock guys, and I'm going to call it a day. Okay, that failed me putting it in, but there is the template or whatever that the drywall guys are going to use to put the drywall around the range vent hood. So while I was working on this last night, I was trying to figure out how future me was going to solve some of the problems that I was going to be creating. And future me told me, that's a bunch of bull. Get it fixed now. So I did a little bit more brainstorming, and I came up with a plan to get this installed in a pretty reasonable fashion and not create a bunch of problems for future me. Future me is getting tired of solving past me's problems. So a future video is going to be me actually installing the range hood in the ceiling after the sheetrock is done and before we put the insulation in. So look forward to that. For now, it's ready for the sheetrockers, the drywallers, whatever you want to call them, to come out, finish up the ceiling, and hopefully get the rest of the walls done. And yeah, we're looking forward to being done with that so we can get some paint on the walls and start putting things in and making things work. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next one.